Yep.
Okay, so I'm here at PAX East with.
My name's Ian Flood.
Okay, and you're showing off the Plague Knight DLC for Shovel Knight.
That's right. This is the Plague of Shadows DLC. It's an all-new update coming within the next couple of months. We're aiming for quarter 2, 2015.
Okay.
And this is a completely new storyline. It's a completely new take on the Shovel Knight campaign.
Okay.
You play as Plague Knight, and he doesn't think about Shield Knight. He doesn't care about the Enchantress. He's on a quest to concoct the perfect potion. And to do that, he needs to extract essences from all the Order of No Quarter. So he needs to turn against them and go on his own side mission.
So, in terms of the timeline, how does this is fitting in before the end of the original game, or
for some reasons? For some reasons that'll become clear when the full game is out.
Okay.
This can't happen exactly when Shovel Knight's campaign happens, or if it did, it's a very bad week for the Order of No Quarter. So this is kind of like a slightly alternate timeline.
Okay.
It's for some elements are very close to Shovel Knight, and some of them diverge a little bit.
I mean, who's going to hold their feet to the fire over,
Well, I want it to line up.
over how canonical it is?
No, I mean, but that's also, while it is an alternate timeline, it should be an accurate reflection of the characters. So this is what Plague Knight would be doing. This is what the other characters would be doing. We want to tell more story of Shovel Knight. We want to tell more about it, and all in a very real way. It's not a made-up story.
I agree. Okay, it wasn't like a Star Wars movie.
Sure, yeah.
So, in terms of the Kickstarter, was Plague Knight the first night that you were going to do as DLC, or you just knew you were going to do 3 of them? And
we knew they were going to do 3, and the top from number 3 came in at King Knight, number 2 was Plague Knight, and number 1 was Spectre Knight. The reason we landed on Plague Knight is, 1, he was a ranged character, which was a nice contrast to Shovel Knight, who has to go in close range most of the time. And he had just a lot more mobility options that would be a direct...
he killed me a lot of times.
Right. I think the Plague Knight boss battle stood out for a lot of people.
It was really good. All the vials and beakers and stuff blowing up. It was
fantastic.
Good stuff.
And I mean, I think he provided one of the strongest foundations for how he would play in the gameplay. It's like, oh yeah, he would be able to jump around a lot. He would be able to throw bombs kind of frantically. He would be a little chaotic, but also like a lot of fun to control. And so we used that as a jumping off point to kind of like build up his franchise, his entire campaign first.
And all these components are going to be free DLC?
That's right. I mean, one day you'll boot up Shovel Knight on your console and it'll say a new update's available. You'll just download it and it'll all be in there. So these are all free updates, and they're all thanks to our Kickstarter backers way back in 2013.
I don't think I actually kickstarted the game, but I got it into review over, I think, on a Thursday or Friday.
Oh, okay.
And I pretty much ignored my whole family.
Oh, no.
And played this game, and it did ultimately turn out to be my game of the year of 2014. I couldn't shut up about it. I just loved it.
We are laser focused on it all year, so I'm glad we could make other people have to focus on Shovel Knight 100%.
And I remember the year that Capcom was showing off DuckTales,
yes,
which Way Forward did, which you all came from Way Forward.
That's right, yeah.
And I remember you all had a really early demo of Shovel Knight, and I was playing it thinking, there's something here.
Yeah, these two things are familiar.
Yeah, I was like,
we weren't involved on DuckTales Remastered at all. Like, that wasn't our project. Most of the Yacht Club team, we worked on Double Dragon Neon in the past, Blood Rain, Mighty Switch Force,
things
like that.
Another guy from Gaming Group, my buddy Mike, has put in over 30 hours of Double Dragon Neon.
That's amazing, yeah.
I beat it with him, but I mean, he poured so much time into that game. I really enjoyed that one as well.
I love doing brawlers, so I'd love to revisit that.
And Jay Kaufman did the soundtrack as well. So.
That's right, on Double Dragon and Shovel Knight. So
I have City Streets on my I love that song.
Oh yes.
I'm sorry, but back to Shovel Knight. But,
right.
The announcement came out about Battletoads, obviously.
Yes.
Now that was something you all went to Microsoft with, or they came to you?
Well, I mean, whenever you're releasing a game on a platform like that, you're in communication. It's like, hey, we're like looking at April, and they're like, April sounds good, but like we might be a little busy in the first week. How about the second? And just things like, hey, is there anything we should do, or anything that like would make sense? And
it didn't make the version stand out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's just natural for us. I mean, we did that on our own with like the Nintendo platform for like, okay, like the Wii U, we need gamepad play, we need Miiverse, 3DS, we need Street Pass. Like, these are important things that make the game feel at home. And we're talking with Microsoft, and we're thinking like, is there something we can do for people that are trying the game on multiple systems and might be interested to take a look at? And we said, like, what if, like, a special character made an appearance, like our director for a day characters? And they're like, well, like, who are you thinking about? That sounds all right.
So you said, how about Rash? They said, why don't you take Zitz and Pimple too?
Right. It's like, do they have to? It's like, yes, all three. They travel together. No, yeah, we said, how about the Battletoads? Like, they made a pretty lasting impression on the NES library.
For a myriad of reasons.
I mean, it was a technically impressive game. It had co-op. It had, like...
Well, the co-op was broken ultimately, but...
It was kind of scary to play in co-op. But I think it definitely left... Just like a lot of other classic games that inspired Shovel Knight, I think Battletoads had a lasting impact on the NES library.
It did.
So we what could we do? Could we take a look at it? And they said, we'll put it together. We'll see what can happen.
Was it similar with Sony and Kratos? Or?
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
Sony on PS4, PS3, and Vita. Kratos will make an appearance along with a few other surprises right on their platform.
A few other surprises.
A few other surprises. But that's coming out just in April next month, so hopefully by then all the details.
For some reason, I thought of the character from Medieval. What's his name?
Oh, Sir Daniel Fortis?
Yeah.
Fortis.
I don't know why I'm thinking of...
no, I can see
he
that.
has a sword.
I mean, that skeleton right there already kind of looks like he's in the Daniel camp.
Yeah, he does.
That would have been a lot of fun, especially, he showed up again in PlayStation Battle Royale, I remember. He was a character.
He did.
So, yeah, he's definitely in the limelight. But
and they've done nothing with him in I don't know how long, so it's about time.
But I mean, we had a lot of fun with Kratos. I think the battle is, I hope, as you expect, in terms of just being a big brawlery kind of like surprising encounter with a lot of heavy hits and a lot of big attacks. So it's been great.
The only thing else I want to ask you, since I have your attention now.
Sure.
Wow, you answered pretty much everything.
Okay.
Oh, in terms of like, but obviously Shovel Knight augmented as he went on. He had more health and all the abilities.
That's right.
Will Plague Knight need that stuff because he seems to be so much more nimble? Will he need a lot of those things in order to get by the levels?
I think Plague Knight will definitely have some upgrade paths. Okay. He might end up with a little less health than Shovel Knight, or he might have. We're working with the idea of temporary health, where it's a bubble that once it goes away, it's gone. So you can't refill it, but you can like stock up at the beginning, kind of a thing. But for Plague Knight, Shovel Knight, he goes into town, he buys all the stuff, and he keeps it. But Plague Knight, you have to craft new items at checkpoints. And if you fall in battle, then you'll lose all those items.
Why can't he go into town?
What's that? Because he's a villain.
Oh,
he's been terrorizing the entire countryside. They're not going to let him walk in and just carouse the shops and pick up potions.
Well, this is prior to his redemption, if you will.
Oh, right.
Although I don't remember in the ending, like, you all showed a little bit of what happened to everybody. I don't remember what his ending was exactly.
Plague Knight was festively mixing potions with a few other characters from the village.
Okay.
So there'll be some overlap there.
There was some redemption.
But this actually happens on an alternate timeline concurrently with, like, around Shovel Knight. So Plague Knight is a member of the Order of No Quarter. They're in the height of their villainy, and they're up to no good. So he can't quite go around the village or the armory the same way. He has to make items on the side, kind of a thing.
Okay. But he's good at it, obviously.
I think...
he has a background in chemistry.
It's a specialty, yeah.
Alchemy.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
It looks great, and hopefully I'll get a chance to try it at some point. The line is kind of large.
We'll be here all weekend,
That's a good problem to have.
Find some time. Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.